So I'd say compared to the last 2 years, the energy is a lot higher.
Yeah.
I guess
Before
just-
we went on podcast, you said that those were your roommates too, right?
Yeah.
So they just bring that back home in general. So they can never give you rest.
I mean, Griffin's playing arena at like 10 p.m. and he's just screaming about max win. Like I don't even know what he's talking about.
Welcome everyone to pros after week 1 of the LCS. I mean, the reason why I'm excited is the fact that we've been with LTA the entirety of last year, and I don't know about you guys, didn't feel too good.
Doesn't roll off the tongue the same way.
Yeah, it's nice to have LCS back.
For you people out there, of course, especially the people who are auditory listeners not watching the YouTube video, we got Dignitas Palafox, we got Lions here, of course, with Isles, and we have Massu with Flyquest. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
First things first, there's a lot that happened today. I feel like we had a lot that happened this week. I'm going to start with the Lion versus Dignitas series. Immediately, I will go with you, Isles, and ask you guys, because you had, I feel like, a pretty rough week in terms of practice. How was this week, and how has the week been with you guys? Have you had much time to practice in general?
Honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Berserker flew in on the 21st,
Yeah.
I think, and we just started screaming as soon as he got here. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I get off a plane, I'm not gonna go scream.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. But yeah, he jumped straight in. He was playing. I don't remember who we played that day, but he was playing fine, and it was immediately a big difference from playing with a sub prior. We spent the week before that playing with a sub, and as soon as he subs back in, it was smooth sailing, I think. And even though we've only had a few days, I still think the team, like, holistically is coming along.
Mm-hmm. Palafox, same thing, because I guess a week ago or 2 weeks ago, a lot of people were afraid of like 6+ teams having visa problems.
Yeah.
You guys got cooked the hardest. Your entire bot lane and coach
Yeah.
were visa gated on week 1.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a roughie. But honestly, like, props to Breezy Mobility for coming in. They played like pretty well, I think. Like, especially just being like thrown in to where they are, and like, I think the drafts weren't like super easy for them either.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, we had like a little draft blunder in the first game too. So it happens, But next week will be better.
What's the blunder, if you mind me asking?
I think we probably should have banned Bard. Think
Oh, I'm the goat.
well, I think it's just like it's a little hard to play that game. I think if Bard is in the game, it's not like impossible. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it just specifically that game would be like hard for us to like maneuver some fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How was it from your perspective? Because you were the Bard, and you're going up against your old organization that you were with for quite some time in the LCS.
To be honest, I thought in the first game I was the king of the world. I thought I was completely running the game, and honestly, like, usually I'm pretty critical, but my first game, I don't think I made almost any mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
There would only be really small stuff, and I thought I played the fights fairly well. Obviously, there was some team-wide mishaps that we will talk about
Yeah.
that have already been talked about to some, honestly, substantial length. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the first game, honestly. The second one, maybe not as much.
Yeah. Are reviews easy for you guys? Because I think everyone out there, when it comes to Lion as a team, will talk about, even including myself, will be like, you guys have the big three. You guys got Berserker coming in alongside Inspired and Saint. But the biggest question was always going to be, I guess the word would be egos, but like strong voices, right? So how has like the process been? Because you haven't had much time to practice in North America, but I'm sure in Korea you guys did.
Yeah, we did scrim for around like maybe 15 days in Korea, which was really good. I think we would definitely play worse if we hadn't had that previous time. Especially, I mean, I would myself, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this notion that like the personalities clash is not it at least doesn't shine light on the fact that they can also help each other really well. I think people that are really, really honest and confrontational, sometimes it just seems to work.
Mm-hmm.
I think Everyone obviously will talk about Inspired and whatnot, but I think Berserker is, from the player that I played with in 2022 very briefly, and as observing him on his time, like on C9 at the time, he's like developed a lot, and he's become more of that player who's willing to bring up issues, who sees the game as more of a whole thing, and he's always one of the first people after a game to bring up something to someone, to ask about something, and it doesn't feel like there's a clash really.
Nice. That's good to know. Because I would say that you, Palafox, are, I don't know if you would call yourself critical of yourself and other teammates, but definitely in NRG, that was like the case.
Yeah. I mean, normally, I think I am pretty critical about like certain aspects of the game. So like team fighting, or like just if I think a large problem with a lot of teams is just like if somebody is in the wrong spot, like on the enemy team, you have to be not afraid to just like go.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it's just a balance of that. Honestly, I've tried to tone it back a little bit this year
Mhm.
because, like, personally, I'm not like a confidence player. Like, I'm not super. The confidence does affect me sometimes.
Yeah.
But usually, I'm just like, if we lose like 10 scrims in a row, I won't feel it. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Next day will be better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just trying to like try to be more considerate of others and how they feel about stuff, and just not push things too hard.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You guys played against each other, of course. I want to get into that game. Massu, did you watch the game between the both of them? I want to hear from an outsider
I
opinion.
watched most of the game 2. I didn't see much of game 1.
Ooh, then talk about game 2 a little bit. What was your thought process watching game 2?
I mean, it seemed like Lyon was in pretty solid control for most of it. I think the early game they had some mishaps with like diving and going 2-for-1 and stuff like that. And then they started throwing towards the middle of the game, but I think they brought it back pretty well. So it wasn't like a clean game, but it looked like they stayed composed.
What was it from your perspective? How composed were you guys throughout all the mishaps?
It was fine. I didn't think early game was really a problem. I think until like the second Drake fight,
Mhm.
I played really bad that fight. We didn't get punished as hard as we could have, I think, for that fight, but I was completely tunnel visioned on Pantheon, and I pretty much killed myself for no reason, and I didn't block a hook.
Was that the one where Inspired
Where-
flashed over the
yeah,
wall
were
to
flashed
steal?
over.
And
I
then
was
you were like in the middle of
completely
everyone.
tunnel vision. Yeah, I could play so much better that fight because Cannon had no flash on ult, and I had flash still. So if I just played a little slower, it could have been so much better.
Mm.
I think Berserker also kind of ran at that fight, but then I could have saved him by killing myself, but I didn't see it in time. So I felt really bad about that. But in terms of like the actual things that kind of affected the game, it was pretty much just Cannon running the show at times. I think
Yeah.
we had a lot of miscommunication in game, especially that top fight in Top River. We didn't even realize he was there until it was kind of too late.
Yeah.
Or like we knew he was coming, but we thought Renekton would come as well. And it was Douglas said he said, but like we didn't hear or something like this. So obviously these are things that you have to try and iron out in review
Yeah.
and try to fix for other times. But it didn't seem like people made massive misplays, you know. Sometimes in competitive, if you just have a miscommunication like this, it can be game losing. But it didn't feel like the flow of the game was bad.
Mm-hmm. What about your perspective, Palafox?
Well, the early game seemed Omega cooked. You know, a little bit rough on the bot side, and then in jungle, like Pantheon stole Krugs with a Q blind
Yeah.
over the wall.
That's crazy.
So I thought the game was going to be kind of cooked. Photon brought it back, got I think a solo kill or 2 on top, and then like I ganked top. So that's like, you know, we found the inter. It was Dokla. And then I mean the rest of the game was just like, you know, us grouping. I think Saint was also a bit of an inter in that game. So was I, to be completely honest. I killed myself on an important timer. And then just team fights, you know, it happens. Sometimes people like go too far. I think like we got caught out in some like leaking fights. It happens.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean it's just like learning struggles. I think it honestly, like the fact that we got into a winning position after that was was pretty good because it kind of was really cooked from early game. I'm not gonna lie, or like it felt that way at least.
Yeah. I mean, you said you weren't like a confidence-based player, but speak to me about the confidence of like, because you guys went up against Lyon while having giga visa problems to like the nth degree. Even your general manager's on stage as a coach. Like, I would imagine outside looking in as a player, it would feel demotivating to be like, should I put in 110% even if we don't have everybody, right? But it felt like both games had strong laning phases. The one game you may have had a Bard terrorize your lane. But also it felt like generally you had, in my view, a good game. What was your view from that?
I mean, first game was just hard, maybe a little unplayable. Second game was well, I guess I'll say something about draft, right? Like
Secrets.
yeah, I'll say secrets, for
No,
fun,
of course,
for fun,
of course.
maybe shake things up on other teams.
Yeah.
But I think just in game 2, stylistically, Talia Jinx cannot die
Yeah.
if nobody does anything. So Talia Jinx will run the game.
Yeah.
As long as like in the last fight, there's a Renekton with no flash that gets a super blast cone on my head.
Mhm.
That should never happen. But like, we will just run to back. Me and Jinx will carry no matter what, and it's mostly because like Lyon engaged champions, like they have a Lulu, so
Yeah.
they are down 1, right?
Yeah.
They have a Renekton. That champion is like with flash up is the only engage. They have a Rise. He can like suicide bomb himself in, but that's not like reliable. And then Pantheon has to do the same thing, but like into Talia, it's hard.
Yeah.
Right. Or like Talia Jinx, because Jinx can just trap as well.
Mhm.
Right. So I think like just in like Talia Rise, that type of matchup, like if the Talia is really good, they should solo carry the game.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I don't know. In that game, I think it was kind of like, if I called the right things, I will always carry, like
Mhm.
regardless of like names,
Yeah. I'm interested, obviously, like week 1 will always be an asterisk based off the amount of practices you have. Masu, I'm interested in your idea of Lyon and their expectation. I ask you because, of course, your former teammate Inspired's playing on that team.
Mhm.
So there's always going to be a genuine interest of like, oh, how's my former teammate going to do?
Mhm.
What's your expectation of Lyon this split, actually, or this year?
I don't know. I think it could really like vary or
Yeah.
depend on, I guess, how well they mesh together and how much they can push each other to improve. I mean, like Isles said, I think it's overblown, like the ego narrative where maybe they have 3 players with big voices, so it's gonna like already explode the team.
Yeah.
I feel like, at least from playing with Inspired, he's reasonable enough to know like when to give feedback and when not to, and then how to give it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like Inspired is a very good player. I feel like he elevates the level of any team he joins. So starting off, I think for sure they're gonna be good just because they have that like direction and their baseline is so high.
Mm-hmm.
I think the question for me is just like towards the middle or maybe like the end of the split, how well connected would they be?
Yeah. I'd ask the same question to you, Isles. But I'd add on, how does it feel being on a team that has like positive expectations? Because like from a player being on a team that just feels like, oh my God, I don't know how much I can put in. It just feels like we lose every week kind of thing. Now you're on a team that has that expectation. Does it feel any different for you at all or not?
Well, obviously, like if you look at the scrim record, instead of being 0-6, I'm 6-0 now. So in that sense, like I wouldn't say I'm like a big confidence guy either, but at least going into the day and knowing that I'm on a team that wins every time in scrims, that has these players that are gonna give direction, they're gonna make the game easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never like, I don't know, it was just really comfortable on stage a lot of the time, especially in game 1, where I just felt like the game was gonna be easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really nice feeling to have, knowing that the players in your team are gonna make very little mistakes sometimes, and I'm just gonna have that freedom to focus on myself more. I think what I've already learned is that the small things, small mistakes that I made on previous teams in previous years, they get picked up way more quickly on this team,
Yeah.
because some of the more basic stuff or just the fundamentals of the game understood to a higher baseline, which is like what Massu was talking about. Because of that, it's easier to refine these small things. Every wave that we miss, every time someone doesn't move a little bit left, a little bit right, you miss a few words, you do anything, it gets picked up so much more quickly, and it will, I think, just be refined over time.
Yeah. Palafox, I'm interested in the expectation that you have with your team only because, like, yes, visa situation is always going to be cooked.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I feel like in a very long time you've been, like, disconjoined with your twin in contracts. You've been with him for a while. And it's like a bunch of new players. And we'll see, obviously, because you've worked with, Ignar and before in the past alongside FBI. So what's your expectation with Dignitas?
Honestly, like, I mean, these are my own personal expectations, right? Is that I think XU has a lot of potential as a player.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of, like, everyone across the league is like pretty equal, honestly, in skill, and just like a lot of small edges to like win out. And I think XU picks up on a lot of things pretty quickly.
Mhm.
So I was like really surprised about that on scrims.
Yeah.
He's like pretty accountable as well. Like he's really like hard on himself and accountable. So that's
Mhm.
like a really good combo. And then playing with like Ignore and FBI, like these two have said, like playing with players that have a really high baseline is like really, really nice. And they're nice and relaxing to be around. So it's like it's almost like more time to focus on myself.
Yeah.
I think if personally, like as a player, if I have like that, I mean, I have pretty high expectations for myself.
Mhm.
You know, I just need to like actually deliver on them. And I think my expectation for us is like at least we go worlds.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Especially since, do you have any thoughts on community expectations? Because our power rankings, you can flame me too. Everybody has like DSG and Dig in terms of like 7th and 8th.
Yeah.
That was
I
like
mean-
the consistent thought process.
I mean, again, like I think people don't realize how close the league actually is. I don't think like anybody's really going to be running it down. It's just going to be kind of like Isles said, like small fundamental things.
Yeah.
And then it's just like refining, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like even I would say even with like 2 subs and like a sub coach, like we were in a winning position against Lyon, which is, I mean, I don't know who the favorites are in the league, but I would assume it's probably going to be Lyon, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of see like if we just clean some things up, like we will win. And this is, feels good.
Absolutely. I want to go to the next series. Massu, I'm interested in your thoughts. And I'm just going to go straight from how it is to be. You're saying you're the oldest or second oldest player on your team now?
I'm the second oldest. Quad is older than me.
Oh, yeah.
The
So at
father.
least we got that. You're not the complete Unk. Unk at what, 21, 22?
Yeah, I'm Unk at 21. Newly 21. So.
Yeah. How is it feeling being on this team in comparison to the team last year in terms of just like, I guess, maturity level, I suppose?
Maturity level? I mean, it actually feels like similar, but also different in a way.
Yeah.
I think the vibe or like the atmosphere is very similar where everyone's like pretty open with each other. We make a lot of jokes and everyone's like comfortable around one another.
Yeah.
But it's different in the sense that like they just don't run out of energy.
Yeah.
Like after a scrim day, I'm like usually pretty tired. I'm a more quiet person, so I just like to chill. I don't like to talk too much.
Yeah.
And then Griffin is like yapping about something, and then Cryogen's also doing that too. So they have a lot of energy, and it's like contagious. Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel also more energetic because of it. So I'd say compared to the last 2 years, the energy is a lot higher.
Yeah.
I guess
Before
just-
we went on podcast, you said that those were your roommates too, right?
Yeah.
So they just bring that back home in general. So they can never give you rest.
I mean, Griffin's playing arena at like 10 p.m. and he's just screaming about max win. Like I don't even know what he's talking about. And then our other teammates live above us,
Yeah.
like directly above us. So then like Griffin is threatening Gakkos. He's like, bro, if you end me, I'm gonna hit a broom on the roof and just like wake you up. So it's pretty fun.
I see the energy in game too. Like
Yeah,
in
for
your
sure.
games, it is perhaps the most psychopathic in comparison to last year where it feels like a lot more methodical.
Yeah.
These games are literally just fist fights. Like definitely game 1, I think you guys were behind, right? And you guys
Yeah.
were able to still claw it back
We
in.
were,
It was because of the scuttle fight in which level 6 got pinged.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the games in general from your perspective.
I mean, like you said, last year, I think we were pretty methodical, but we did have like Bippo, we had me and Busio, which I think like pretty often we did make something happen, or like we were more so aggressive while Quad and Inspired like farmed and looked for the one good opportunity to kind of like blow open the game.
Yeah.
This year, I'd say the rookies are very excited. They're
Yeah.
very like hyper all the time. So as soon as they see an angle, they like to go for it, which is like a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's good that you're able to execute on an angle that you see and have the confidence to do that.
Yeah.
At the same time, like you need to learn, which I'm sure they will slowly learn, is like maybe a better opportunity will come, or there's like a better play to be had. So just be more patient.
Yeah.
And set up that play. So yeah, for sure. Like you already saw in the Scuttle Crab fights, like we lost off of a Scuttle Smite 50-50,
Yeah.
which is like a pretty risky fight to take,
Yeah.
because if he had won that, he'd be level 6
Yep.
and it would be completely different. So yeah.
And you said, Palafox, that you had something to ask about the Fly games because you watched them, did you?
Yeah. What were the comms on mid? Like how is Quad feeling? You know, playing as Azir, Jarvan, Bard.
Yeah.
Draft does not look great.
Yeah, it was Malphite Bard.
Malphite, yeah, Malphite is your Bard.
I mean, it
yeah.
does seem like Bard is just the enemy of the mid laners. I think especially that game, Bard got a lot more time to do what he wanted because of some mistakes we did ball lane. I think we gave him like a lot more freedom. So Quad had to suffer because of that. And the comms were like, Bard could come in, but we did say it quite often. So I think Quad had enough and had to show us sometimes.
Yeah. Well, one of his deaths was Bard ulted behind him to push him forward, and he was already hugging tower.
Yeah, and then
almost.
Malphite.
Walked up and clicked Q. He just dies.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty depressing game for a mid laner when the support
Yeah.
can run there so often.
Yeah.
Because like the expectations thing, especially for both of those teams, you and Shopify, is always tough. Especially, I felt like in the draw show, really early, you guys set expectation of like, hey, I don't know if we're gonna win or not a lot. So like maybe split 2, kind of like setting expectations.
Mhm.
And then I hear a lot of confidence coming into today. So where do you feel like your expectations are as a team? What should we
Mm,
expect from this young Flyquest?
I think the confidence shows just from like we had pretty decent practice, I would say.
Mhm.
We did well in scrims, and I thought we picked up a lot. It's not like just we won or lost scrims, so it's good or bad. But
Yeah.
I feel like we actually improved throughout the 2 weeks of scrims.
Mhm.
So honestly, I'm pretty confident in my team and myself. So I'd say you can expect top 3 this split,
Ooh.
and anywhere between 1 and 3.
Yeah. So anywhere there.
Top
Yeah.
3, but not 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Oz, what do you think about? Cause did you watch the series for both of them? Because obviously you're in
I was
focused.
watching a
Mhm.
little bit of the Flyquest series, but I don't really remember all the events. I remember the second game was a banger.
Yeah.
And the first game, I thought Malphite was just completely steamrolling the game.
Mhm.
Second crab is the whole game
Yeah.
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure how SR lost.
Yeah.
They,
Well-
they really must be ashamed of that. So,
I think Malphite might have ulted nobody a couple times.
yeah.
There's like, I think one of the last fights, at this point they were probably already behind. It was like behind the Baron pit, Malphite ulti, no one's there. Like literally no,
no,
one's
he
there.
ulted on Ori Zanya's, and Ori was already in. Oh no, Bard ult. Sorry, Bard ulted Ori.
Oh,
He was
I
in
think-
stasis, and like Malphite ulted like 1 second early, which is just like now he's just standing there. you know?
Yeah, I think I must have been. Yeah, I think I was running around backstage or something at that
Yeah.
point, but it did look pretty unlosable.
Yeah.
From my perspective, so I'm not sure what went wrong. I don't remember what you guys were playing bot, but I thought something went wrong early too.
We were playing Jin Karma.
Yeah, I thought maybe bot was farming every minion for some reason, but I don't remember.
And then game 2, you guys terrorized, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's the rest of
bowling
you
was
guys.
completely won, but then it
Complete
became a
stump.
banger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I mean it became a banger once we went between their tier 1 and tier 2 at
Yeah.
top lane.
Yeah.
That was a bit crazy. But I feel like, that goes back to I think that's just the energy that the rookies like to bring in. They're
Yeah.
very excited to make a play, and it backfires pretty hard sometimes, but I think that's good because you learn that pretty early on and you can like learn what is too much.
What kind of impact do you have, do you think Griffin had? Because Griffin obviously got double player of the games
Mhm.
and was a pretty major candidate of getting player of the week. How's it been playing with him?
Honestly, before he joined the team, I haven't seen much of him.
Mhm.
I watched him a little bit on Loud, but not that much.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to expect, and I was like pretty pleasantly surprised. He's pretty vocal in the game about like what he needs from everyone, and kind of like when he's strong, what he wants to fight, how he wants to fight,
Yeah.
which is always like good for a jungler or a player in general.
Yeah.
Um, so he's very vocal, and he's also very confident, which I feel like backfires sometimes because if he sees an angle, he'll go for it, and that's something that we'll just have to work on because a lot of the times it does work,
Yeah.
and I think that's just because we play the fights maybe better than some teams do, or we're able to like, yeah, we're just out handsing people.
Yeah.
But a lot of the angles are like maybe too hasty, so I feel like he'll learn that throughout the split. But he's pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of the expectation, because we haven't talked about Shopify at all, was on Zinni. And a lot of it was because of the hype that Zinni has as a player. There's like a ridiculous hype from coming in from KT.
Yeah, like the MVP awards he received, right?
Exactly.
More than once, I think.
So like the fact that he got a lot of accolades and a lot of people were really behind him, there was a lot of excitement there. But then I felt like, at least from a lot of the players or coaches, there's people who had seen him a little closer. They're like tempering expectations. They're like, I don't know about that. So where do you guys land on that? And I guess I could ask you, Palafox, on what your thoughts are on Zinni as a player.
Honestly, I didn't keep up with any of his games. I
Yeah.
mean, today is just like, I feel like the way SR plays is like he's along for the ride,
Yeah.
whether or not it goes good or bad. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't have too much of an opinion on it.
That makes sense. You guys as well?
I mean, today I didn't feel like the aura that was like
Yeah.
brought out to have,
Yeah.
but I didn't lane against him, so I'm not sure about that. And then mid game he was okay, but nothing like special from what I saw.
Mhm.
So I think he just needs more time.
That makes sense.
I mean, for me, I'm optimistic. I think that when I think back, when I played against Quid the first few times when he played on 100,
Oh, right.
I thought he was the most gankable player. I thought he would die if I just breathed on mid. And it just, 100 Thieves at the start of their run, especially when they had Sniper
Yeah.
and before they became like, a pretty good team in North America, I really thought that Quid was, similar to where Zinni is now.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I'm optimistic to see, because I think Quid is really good now,
Mhm.
and he's developed into someone who, creates advantages in and of himself. He plays a lot of champs. He has the aura, I suppose, that Maz was
True.
talking about, and I can see Zinni's. He's definitely a mechanical player. I saw the way he was moving on Rise. Just he's definitely clicking fast. And
Yeah.
he's definitely a young guy.
Yeah.
So I'm optimistic,
That's true.
but I haven't seen it yet.
People, including myself, can be really quick to judge, because I remember his first split with like, that was the double if lineup when he first came in, like second split, because Bjergsen like retired early, and he looked really bad, like Quid specifically.
Yeah.
And then that changed. I mean, they kept him. People questioned it. He knew it next split, like won MVP. Like he actually
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
So you're right. People definitely can be too quick to the trigger. I'm interested in the draw show a little bit. We'll talk about the draw show because obviously the format's different this time around. It's very similar to Worlds where you just have the Swiss stage stuff. So interested in the next week matches for a lot of you guys. Now, this is fun. Isles, you're going up against Cloud9. That is amazing. What's your expectation, or like what are you looking forward to in that matchup?
I don't know. C9 has always been the team I wanted to beat most. They were the team I was on at first. So,
Mhm.
and I'm good friends with Sven, so I'm obviously always happy to play against them. But it's also a lot of fun to scrim them. So I'm kind of sad that we won't have that opportunity
True.
this week. But I was talking to my teammates about the TLC9 matchup, and everyone I spoke to other people too, thought that TL was going to win.
Yes.
They thought they were going to win 2-0, and it was not even going to be close. That's what I
Ooh.
heard.
Ooh.
That's not what I saw.
Yeah.
So we scrimmed C9, and it definitely is obvious that some of these players played together last year.
hmm
They definitely have a lot of this fundamental stuff down. Especially, I think even Vulcan, just my matchup versus him, I think he's definitely has the experience on me, and he definitely sees angles a lot quicker than I do at times.
Mhm.
So, but it's a 5v5 game, not a 1v1 game. And I'm still confident in my team. What I've seen so far from my team and our preparation has been awesome. And I'm really excited.
Masu,
Hmm.
you're going to be going up against DSG. You guys are in the upper bracket. This is what is so funny about Swiss Stage, by the way, is that it's just luck of the draw. So the fact that DSG and you guys have a chance to immediately just go like 2-0.
Uh-huh.
What is your expectation going into these guys? Because obviously we'll talk about it a little bit afterwards. I don't think anyone expected DSG to win versus Sentinels. Maybe I don't know if you guys had a different thought process.
I thought it would be close.
Yeah,
Mhm.
also close.
Okay, nice. Then that's us outside looking in. What are your thoughts going up against? Actually, were people underrating DSG? Because you guys obviously had different expectations on that.
I think maybe people are overrating Sentinels.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think that's
Yeah.
the
More than underrating DSG.
Yeah.
I think DSG still has some a ways to go.
Mhm.
But I think people thought that Sentinels would just, I wouldn't say be a top team, but be a very competitive team right from the start. And I
Yeah.
think this is not a group of players that have played together before.
Mhm.
So it's going to take some time, I imagine.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts? Because you're going to be going up specifically against Sajid. You
Mhm.
guys are like Flyquest brothers in that way.
Hmm.
Any thoughts going up against him in particular, or just going up against DSG as a team?
I mean, I do think DSG is still like a very new team, and I'm right. I think week 2 they're playing with their main jungler.
I'm not sure actually. I'm expecting it,
Yeah.
but you never know.
So I don't know what jungler they're gonna play. So I haven't seen them play with their full main roster.
Yeah.
But I think they have quite a bit to work on in terms of team play, and I think their bot lane, Sajed, I think he's got a lot of potential.
Mhm.
I think he's pretty good in team fights, especially. In terms of laning or something like that, I think their 2v2 bot is not that scary.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's not like a 2v2 game, so the entire team is gonna get involved, and I think you will still have to play clean in order to leverage advantages.
Yeah. And so I guess the next one would be Shopify Rebellion going up against TL. I'm interested in your thoughts on that matchup in particular.
I think it'll be a scrap. Honestly, I think from what I've seen today, like either team can win depending on the day.
Yeah.
Like personally, I don't think I think TL got like big individual leads in the C9 game, or at least
Mhm.
like Quid as an example, but it feels like what I saw out of 100 Thieves last split, right? Like the team fight magic is kind of what I felt from them.
Yeah.
It's like Quid was just playing like a little bit off in that series. I think it was just like maybe like a little disconnected or just like just a little bit out of it.
Yeah.
But I think if Quid is on and back to his old self, I think TL will take it. Otherwise, like it can be really close.
And I guess I'll double down on you just because you are also going up against Sentinels, and you already said like everyone kind of agreed on Sentinels being like kind of overvalued in a case. What's your thoughts going into that team?
I mean, just like going. I'll start with Darkwings because
Yeah.
lane, right? Kind of feels like he's a bit unaware. Like he farms a lot. He will be taking waves and he's pretty greedy, which means that like he's like pretty easily open, like exploitable to like ganks, right? And it feels like I don't have too much of an opinion of like anyone else. I think like the jungler is a little bit rough sometimes. Like maybe he's like trying to do too much. It's
Mhm.
kind of what it feels like. But like just strictly like team fighting, I think like jungle is a little bit rough, and I don't think he's like a good engager. So it's like I don't know if you go and watch those games, like when he's playing Lucian Nami, they're just stomping bot lane, but like little direction, I feel.
Yeah.
And then in team fights, if you watch like the Rel game that he played, he's like solo ulting a Xin Zhao as Rel, like using his flash and stuff. It's something that I would expect from like I don't know, just not an LCS player. So yeah.
Actually, I guess we can go straight into it. I'll go into that one immediately. It was the DSG versus Sentinels game. I definitely thought Sentinels would win. I think the power rankings overall was, at least I'll say my power rankings, that I had Sentinels as 6, but I thought that they would be a team that would maybe scale over time. Because like you have Huhi and Impact as veterans who probably have like a good vision of the game, and you have Golden Glue, so maybe things could work out in the past. But this was obviously not a good week for them, going up against the DSG and losing. So my thoughts, actually a question I'll ask you, Isles. What do you think is wrong with Sentinels at the moment? You can just say outside looking inside opinion because you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what I would say exactly, but I will say Impact's playing great. I think his performance relative to his opponent was amazing.
Yeah.
And I think I would feel really, really demotivated, honestly, if I had lost that series from his perspective.
Yeah.
It was definitely not a top lane problem. So from the 4v4 game, we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
And I remember the second game too, or I don't know if it was the second game, but the Lucian Army game,
Yeah.
it looked unlosable. It seemed like DSG bot lane didn't have a sense of direction at all. They didn't understand when they were winning, when they were losing, and I thought it would just be a clean game. Especially considering that, I mean, DSG is playing with a sub, but obviously from the start of the year, if you're playing with a sub the whole time, it's not like he's gonna be a sub.
Yeah.
Kinda. But I don't know. I think also to be optimistic, I think Dark Wings has exceeded a lot of people's expectations from where he was last year.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see he's getting a shot. And when I'm talking to Saint, Saint is showing me things in lane that Dark Wings is definitely, you know, a reasonable player. He's laning well in the games that I've seen him, in the games we've scrim versed them. But as a 5-man unit, I think they're just so not on the same page.
Yeah.
Just so far from each other, and their expectations just don't align almost at all. So from the games I scrimmed them and from the games I saw, it's hard not to believe that they will crumble somewhere in the mid game. Even if things go well, there's a chance that something can go wrong.
You're nodding along with that.
That's such a tame take. Bro, all right, so let's say in game 2, right? Like bot was 80 CS up.
That was the Lucian Army game?
Yeah, that was the Lucian Army game. It was like
So 80 CS up. That's a big number.
That is crazy.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Would you carry that game if you're Lucian Army? Like if you're
Would I have carried?
would you have been a part of like winning that game, giving them direction?
I hope so. I mean,
Are you-
I don't remember the exact game state, so it's hard to say. But I remember the Impact, as long as memory serves, was
Yes.
crushing both games.
Yeah.
The Kasante game he was playing great, and the second game I forgot what he was playing. Mordekaiser? But he was
Yes,
solo killing
second-
Sion or
yeah,
something. He was
Mordekaiser.
definitely playing great. Yeah, I would hope so. It's really not hard to play, I think, when you have a champion like Mordekaiser who is just hard to kill inside. If people go to him, he can 2v1.
Yeah.
So one of your side laners will just be under control the whole time. And Lucian Army will have prior on every single mid wave. So where does it go wrong?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to believe now that I'm actually thinking about it more. Like, how did they lose?
It's tough. I do think it's actually crazy. I do think that game later on was hard for the Mordekaiser because the mid laner they're going up against, Akali, pretty difficult to ult.
Well,
Oh,
debatable. Akali can't use Shroud. If she uses Shroud and then you ult her out, you
and
just
then she
kill
doesn't
her.
have Shroud.
Yeah.
Also, if you like, he was so strong in that game that when he ulted Akali,
Yeah.
he didn't even lose 1v1. So when Akali pops out, she would have no Shroud.
That is true.
So it's like, you know, there's that. Also, I would say like for you, right? So like you spawn in, you don't give direction to your team. Like you would say the thing about Mordekaiser, I'm assuming, right? Like our
Well,
Mordekaiser can 2v1. We
it would
get
be-
prow on every mid wave.
I don't know if I would say it, but I mean, I have teammates that fill in a lot of the blanks for me. So
I see.
there's a blessing in that sense. But
Okay.
I mean, genuinely, it's hard for me to understand if you win so hard on mid and you win so hard on side, just what happened. Mordekaiser could easily make fun of Xin Zhao in team fights. If you just walk as Mordekaiser
True.
in front of Xin Zhao, like,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
The 4v4 game will be completely won. And Xin Zhao versus Lucian is like a bit of a feast or famine. When Xin Zhao is winning, Lucian can't play. If he tries to hit Xin Zhao, he will die, and he will deal 0 damage. But the inverse can also be true. When Lucian is culling your front line and Xin Zhao has to pop ult, he's currently useless.
Yeah.
So champions like Xin Zhao are much better situated in the river, hitting the Drake, creating chaos in the team fight, and making space that way. But when the game is just, we can't breathe on mid lane, we can't kill Lucian, it's impossible. If I go to side lane to hit Mordekaiser, he's just going to kill me. I don't remember what the mid laner was, but still, I'm
Yeah.
finding it hard to believe that they found a way to just throw it all away.
Yeah, yeah. Palafox, I guess through the line of your questions, you're basically saying they just had no direction.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to instigate a little bit. But
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember the game that well, so it's
I
hard for me to
see,
speak
okay.
to it, I guess. But
I want to go into the C9 TL one, but do you have any final thoughts on the Sentinels DSG series?
I honestly didn't watch most of the game,
Okay,
so I'm not sure
that's fair.
how they lost either.
We can go straight into the C9 TL one because that one is a pretty big banger. It feels like everyone's expectations of like top 2 teams. Actually, Isles, you even mentioned that everyone expected Team Liquid to win from who you talked to. It was pretty divided from like broadcast town. Like I had C9, but I didn't think it was going to be 2 at all. What was your? Actually, I'll ask you, Massu. What was your thoughts of that series if you had watched it?
I mean, from what I remember, I think I watched the second game mostly,
Yeah,
and APA seemed to be playing quite well.
yeah,
I think he was already stomping mid lane. He was like up 20 CS on Yone Astelia, which is not normal, I think.
hmm
And he was also moving around and like being in the jungle fights, being in the bot fights, and the game seemed pretty hard.
yeah,
So I was thinking TL was the stronger team before watching the games, by not that much, just like by a little bit, just because I thought their bot lane is honestly very strong, especially in lane, I think.
yeah,
And I think Sven Vulcan are good at neutralizing lane mostly. They're not, in my opinion, I haven't seen them play a winning lane and like stomp their opponent hard and create an advantage that way.
yeah,
I think they're very good when Sven can farm either 1v2, 1v1 while Vulcan moves around with Blabber. So I was kind of surprised that TL lost 2-0, but then again, I think either team could have won.
yeah. Especially since TL had a pretty consistent advantage in game 1. Like they had an advantage the entire time. I think that was also the game in which APA solo killed Quid in lane. It was like Ori versus Azir.
That solo kill is like, bro, he stood still as Azir and auto attacked, and Quid died because he kept trying to run back in. You know, like Azir didn't even click E or like R, anything. He just poked him. You know.
Yeah.
I think Quid has to accept that one a lot.
Yeah.
For that to happen.
That one. So you just think it's like an aberration that just shouldn't
That
happen?
one looked real weird.
Yeah.
Like a one-off.
Yeah.
Most likely. Yeah. For the Talia thing, like you said, it's just I feel like TL looking at that game just didn't realize like their win con is not early game. Like just chill out, don't do anything, and then like after Yone gets some pressure in the lane, like you can do something. But I don't know if you realize like Talia walked down to a crap fight at level 4. TL was hard losing it. Like it's Jarvan versus Vi. Like they just don't win early. So they're already winning it. Talia comes down, eats a kill, has blue buff, and gets lost chapter from it.
Yeah.
Then he runs back to mid and just starts railing Quid with no mana issues. I was like, damn, that's a roughie. You know, like if that happens in your mid, you're just like, oh, I'll do my best. You know, just yeah. Especially like Talia when she has like that type of a lead early, especially like item advantage too. It's hard for a little bit, and then like as long as you survive it, it's fine. But it's kind of hard to survive that one.
Where's the confidence coming from where everyone believes that Team Liquid is the better team? It seemed like C9 obviously brought in a lot of the same players from last year, added APA, seemed like they were, well, like put in a position to succeed in that sense. But I would ask you, Isles, where do you see that confidence in Team Liquid being the outright better team, obviously, before the series?
well, I'm not sure I shared the same experience to the same extent that some of the people I talked to did. But what I will say is when we played against TL in Korea, we were, I think it was SR, C9, TL, and us that all went to Korea. And I scrimmed all 3 of those teams.
Yeah.
And I just thought that Morgan seemed like he really put all the pieces together. Their bot lane is strong in lane, like Massu talked about. Everyone has known that Yon KoJJ has been, at least I think historically, the strongest bot lane in lane.
Yeah.
In North America. Maybe not out of lane. Maybe Bushido and Master were goated. I don't know. I was too busy losing every game to know. But yeah, I don't know. When we played against Morgan, it seemed like he was creating advantages in and of himself. He had an idea of what he wanted to draft each game. It seemed like he could play champions that we thought would be terrible, and even if he went down 60 CS, he would somehow find a way to be useful later in the game. He had a good read on when to click the teleport button and just send it fully.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I just thought they were playing well. Honestly, I thought Jose was going to be their weak point. But from watching the games and from what I heard from other people too, Jose actually played a pretty good series. And it seemed like he was kind of a victim in some ways.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, I mean, I was not a really big fan of the Game 2 draft. I think they were destined to lose, potentially.
Yeah.
But still, some of the question marks are there. I didn't think that Morgan was overperforming like I thought he would. I think their buy-in was underperforming based on expectations. I thought the draft was bad. And I really do want to give credit to APA. I think he played a great series too.
Mm-hmm. Palafox, I'm going to ask you this question, but it's going to be an extendo reach because you did play with Jose Diota before
Yeah.
a while ago. So what's your I mean, he must have changed,
I mean-
obviously, everyone changes between that time, but what was your feeling with Jose Diota?
I mean, I actually had a lot of respect for him as a player when I started playing with him. He grinded the most solo queue I've ever seen any player ever grind.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was possible to play like so many games in a week.
Yeah.
I think like, no joke, like while we were scrimming, like he has like 130 or 140 solo queue games of the week, which I literally didn't know was possible.
Is that even possible in North
I
America?
I tried 1 week to like catch it.
Yeah.
I got like 70 or 80, right? And I was like, dude, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
a-
what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Like
It's a low
He's
sleep
cooking the
angle.
books.
he was cooking the books a little bit. But I think he puts in a lot of effort. I think he tries a lot. And honestly, at the time, I think just like our coaching staff really wasn't good at all.
Mhm.
And he's like, I think he needed a lot of like experience or help in that sense, and like just direction. But we didn't really have that, so I'm glad he got another shot. Like he
Yeah.
he didn't really get like a fair shot when he first did try.
Mhm.
You know, so.
So then, how'd you feel about, or what was your expectation of Team Liquid as a team?
Could be a little bit of a flip. I mean, I didn't know anything about Morgan too much. Like, you know, I know like the Lord Morgan memes, but
Yeah.
like it's kind of goes both ways. It felt like. And then like with Quid, it was like a big question mark for me. I don't know about you guys, but like I thought River Quid specifically was like the combo. Like River was like insane.
Yes.
MO, and then like Quid team fighting was insane. So if you get somebody who like starts team fights well, and then like who performs in team fights well, it's just like you're a great duo, right?
Yes.
So honestly, that was just a big question mark for me. And for bot lane, like I do agree. Like Jan Core, I think are like best bot laners, but it does oftentimes feel like they're trying maybe a little too hard
Mhm.
to like stomp bot. Like, there's some like tempo things that I think they miss out on a little bit. And like Core, I think is I don't know. I feel like Core. I don't know how you guys feel. Like you guys play bots, but it feels
True.
like Core out of lane feels a little bit shakier than in the past. Like it's not just like he's finding like crazy angles. It just feels like pretty normal. Yeah. So I mean, expectations are like they'd be good, but not like guaranteed best.
Just picking up off of that one, Mr. Support Player.
Oh, dear.
On Core. How do you feel about, Core as a player, just playing against him or just watching him play? And who do you think is, I guess, the best support / bot lane in the league? You can say yourself, obviously, but if you're going to say yourself and have ego, then say someone else.
Honestly, I think Berserker is the best ADC in the league.
No worries.
No
Yeah.
offense. No
Yeah.
offense, of course. And I think playing with him in Korea, it didn't take me much time to realize that he was not the same player I played with before. So measured, so understanding of not just the 2v2 elements, but also the jungle elements. Plays around jungle so much better than he did back then. And
Oh.
it's just so, like I said, measured.
Yes.
So I really believe in Berserker, and I believe in our ability to become the best 2v2 lane. I think I still have a ways to go.
Yeah.
But I think Yon and Core have great synergy in lane. They think really similarly,
Mhm.
and they just come to the right conclusions, I think, a lot of the time. But I do think sometimes they play worse on champs they don't play a lot.
Mm.
They play really well on champions they've played a ton. They play really well on Lucianami. They play... I mean, that's the one that sticks out the most, to be honest. But
Yeah.
they're just... I think Core plays really, really well on Alistar. But sometimes when the lane matchup is not like really skewed one side and they're playing a matchup that's not super hard winning in and of itself, it seems like there's something lacking. When I
Mhm.
watched their series versus C9 in the second game too. I just didn't think like they would pick this lane and then just go completely dead even, and now you're just Tom Kench versus Rakan, and you're just Jin versus Varus, and
Yeah.
Varus is just shooting his disgusting arrow at you from off your screen. It's just like it's like nothing happened, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if that's because Core is washed out of lane or something like that. I'm not trying to imply that at all.
Yeah.
But something, I think from previous years, I haven't played against Core that much in the past. I did play Core at 2020 in Worlds, and I thought he was the GOAT.
Yes.
I couldn't breathe at any stage of the game. But League has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And one person's ability to impact the game, I think, is a little lower than it was in the past. People are more solid now, and sometimes people play against supports really well. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they shine, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And some players are flashier than others. People say Booster is one of the best players in the West now, like maybe of all time, and he had a more flashy style. Sometimes he was very measured, but sometimes he was really flashy. So I think people remember these things more fondly.
True.
I think Chorus had a wealth of experience. He's definitely a fantastic player. I think he's the toughest support for me to play against when he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think when he plays champs like Alistar and when he plays champs like Lucian Nami, when they realize they're strong, they're great at tricking you out.
Yeah.
And for that reason, they're, I think, the best spot lane in terms of laning phase. But out of lane, I think it becomes, closer. I think Vulcan is really, really great at understanding the 5v5 game.
Okay.
So from just the supports perspective, those are the two that I find the toughest to play against. I think Vulcan is better at understanding the team fight play and sometimes the tempo play a little bit better. He's better at placing wards sometimes, that type of thing. It sounds a bit cheesy. He's better at placing wards.
Yep.
But sometimes, I don't know, Vulcan is great with tempo and that type of thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he is.
I think he's really great. I think Core is really great in lane. But those are the only two, to be completely honest, that really stand out to me.
Mm-hmm. Now I want to rebuttal from Massu before you go into the meta discussion, because obviously you were part of that bot lane with Busio, and then now you're moving in with Cryogen, and I don't know if you had much time to really practice and get an idea of how you guys stack up with the rest of the league. But where do you feel like? Because game 2 is insane, but I'm obviously, you're not going to expect that every time. So what's your expectation, especially working with Cryogen that hasn't had that experience yet? Time to flame him.
No, I mean, of course, Cryogen is like a very green player. Like, he didn't even play in tier 2. He went straight from tier 3 to tier 1. So he has to play a lot of catch up. And for support, which is a role that is like every role is impactful in the game, but the support has to hold a lot of information. And that includes laning plus the entire game overall. It's not like the easiest thing to improve on everything all at once. You have to take it like one step at a time.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of lane, I'm very confident in myself. I'm confident in him as well. And I feel like that won't be like an issue to improve on quickly. And I feel like already from the like 2 weeks ago when I played with him first to now, I feel like we've gotten a lot better already.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't think I'm the best AD carry right now just because I don't think my form is good, but I think I easily can be. And then for Cryogen, I think he's improving a lot every scrim. I think he's learning how to play the map. He's learning how to play the map, and I think he's getting better.
Sweet. So we're getting questions from Discord. This is from Topical Armor 23 to Massu. What is the most ridiculous thing that Griffin has done so far?
I feel like when we go out, Griffin is a very outgoing person.
Yeah.
Even to strangers.
Oh no.
So like we're just walking the streets and he's just randomly like talking to people.
Yeah.
And he's just asking them the dumbest things ever. So like one time we were at a restaurant and we were eating, and then we were about to leave, and the person at the front was like calling a table's name, and she said like Jin or something, and then he just like perks up and he's like screaming at her. He's like, Jin from League of Legends, and then she's just like staring at him, and then she's got no clue what's going on, and he's like, you know a faker? I have a picture with him. So yeah, he's very funny, but he's unhinged. He's unhinged.
Last question is from For Reedmon, it's to all three. What differentiates between a good debut and not so good debut? What makes a debutant, young or import, to be seen as having a... Okay, so just generally, what makes a good and bad debut in general? I'll actually start with you because you came in through the Flyquest team that shall not be named, and you felt like the coaching staff. You just talked about that story, actually.
A good debut and a bad debut. Well, I'll use APA as an example, right? He joined a team with, was it Impact, Piosik, Jan and Core. Piosik coming off winning Worlds. I think just having teammates with a high ceiling, or a high floor.
Yeah.
Just allows you to focus on your own game. And if you're joining a team with like a low floor and everybody's trying to put out fires and like you don't really know where to focus your effort, it becomes really hard.
Yeah.
I think though, if you play with teammates that are, or if you're like all really bad, sometimes it's not. It's even if you play worse than you could, sometimes it doesn't look as bad. So when you're talking about debut, a lot of it for me is like how people see you.
Yeah.
So when you play with really good players and you lose, it can also be, it's like a double-edged sword, right? If you play with really good players and you lose, everyone can view you as the problem.
Yeah.
In the same way. But if you play on a really bad team and you do one thing that's good, maybe it's a good debut. So it does depend, but it's true that when you play with really good teammates, even if you play just average, then it's easy to look good.
Yeah.
Same with you, Massu?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with both of them. I do think for like the general public or most people, like a flashy debut, where even if someone like might have not played well, but they did a really flashy play, or in a team fight they did something really well, that could stick out and like skew the opinion of the public already about that player. But I feel like for players themselves, like I said, debuts can differ a lot. I was lucky to be with a very good team.
Yeah.
So I could focus a lot on myself.
Yeah.
And I think when I debuted, I was already like pretty solid for LCS.
I'm actually interested in your guys' opinion on your own debuts, because like obviously people will think about like Wild Turtles, Pentakill, like, oh, you just replaced someone else. So like I'll start with you, Masu, only because you are like super critical of yourself. Anytime anyone gives you props, you're like, I think I played like shit. How did you view your own debut on Flyquest? Did you think you had a great debut or not? A lot of the community was, of course, was positive.
Yeah, honestly, it was a bit of a blur because that like entire month leading up to me playing my first match, I had like a sinus infection.
Oh.
And like one day I woke up and I couldn't hear out of my right ear, and then the other day like my entire face was hurting. So like I don't remember anything.
It's actually the plague.
Yeah, but I remember I was playing Senna, and I think I played like decently that game. I didn't do anything too exceptional, but I didn't lose us the game.
Yeah.
But I guess like one of the first games I remember, I was playing as Tactical, and he was playing TF 80 carry.
That was the debut. I remember that game.
The Callisto?
That wasn't
the Twisted Fate 80 carry one.
That wasn't like a debut game, but that was like in the first month or so.
Okay.
And I remember I was pretty happy with how we played late in that game.
Yeah.
At least very early on. And I remember TF was like 0 CS at 4 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So it was a nice memory.
It was a good feeling, yeah.
It was a good feeling. How'd you feel about your debut?
I guess my LCS debut was in 2022, and I only played for C9 for like 2 weeks. But I remember, honestly, like the community at the time I thought kind of saw me through rose-tinted glasses. I remember the first game I played Leona, even in a best of 5 versus Golden Guardians at the time. I played Leona, and I thought I played really badly. And I remember LS made a tweet about me saying like, Australia is really well represented today, because Fudge and I played on the same team.
Oh yeah.
We're both from Australia, and he said I played well or something, and I was thinking in my own head, I was like, did I play well this game? I thought I played really bad. But, that's what I mean. Like, the public perception can always differ depending on the teammates you play with. Stuff like this that can randomly happen. Maybe someone influential will say that you played well, and now people like you. I think for that reason, I never really read Reddits ever, but like literally never. For any topic, not just League related, I just don't read Reddit. But I remember reading Reddit for the first and only time when I played on C9, and I didn't get like almost any hate whatsoever,
Okay.
which would lead you to believe it's a good debut, right?
Yes.
And my teammates at the time caught so much heat, like so much. I feel for other players very deeply for that reason, but because narratives, because players play on rosters for so long, it's so easy to point fingers,
Yeah.
and that's just what the public just don't see the nuance of the game sometimes. I think, for example, I think Cryogen today had an awesome debut.
Yes.
His second game, in terms of just getting solo kills, is like so great for your career. It's such an awesome start. But from my lens, being more critical, I can still see things he has to work on, but the public doesn't see that. So, I mean, I'm happy for him. I wish the best for everyone individually.
Mm-hmm.
But from what could have been a mediocre debut, he's had a great one. But it's not necessarily, that doesn't mean he's suddenly the best support in the league because he got solo kills in lane
Yeah.
on his first day.
Yeah. Okay, we got to. I'll ask you how you felt about your debut before we go to the next question.
I don't even remember it.
You don't remember it? Fair.
Yeah, I think it was the LCS Lock In. I either played good or bad. If it's the game I'm thinking of, I played well, but the macro wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then if it's not, then I have no idea what the debut did.
Hey, honestly, we'll stick with a good memory.
Yeah.
But we're going to go back to you on this next question coming in from Mass Mischief. This is the most weirdest question, but you got to have to work with it.
All right.
If you were going to run it down a single game,
Yeah.
what is the champion that you would choose, and what champ do you think would actually help you win despite running it down? This is like a puzzle piece. I actually have no idea.
It's well, there's actually a lot, believe
Yes.
it or not.
Thought
Galio,
about this before.
Annie, Nico, Silas, Akali.
Why do you have that list right now?
I mean, look, I'm not gonna say I ran it down on purpose, which I didn't. On SR, there were some games where I was playing Annie where I would say like, if they go on me, they'll lose the game.
Yeah.
I'll accept death. You know, like it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think one of those games was against C9 actually, where I was just like, they're blowing Nico ult, they're blowing like Nico flash, they're blowing everything to kill like a 2-4 Annie. I was like, I hope you carry B-Boy. You know, like it is what it is. I got my full combo off. I did my job.
No, there it is. That's the reasoning. I love the fact. I think that was the perfect person to ask the question. And before we end the podcast, you know, you guys have spent quite a bit of time on the patch. I want to hear complaints. Just like thought process. What's the one thing that's your pet peeve currently on the new patch or new season, whatever it may be? You can think about it, but I'm gonna go straight to you, Massu. Because like there's so much that's changed.
I like a lot of the changes.
Okay.
It does feel pretty bad to hit Drake as a bot laner now, because I'm doing like 60 damage on auto early on, so it's quite a lot of time that I have to invest into that.
Yeah.
So it feels a lot harder. And then top laners, like they just finished their quest and they're level 19. That also feels pretty bad sometimes because I'm like 2 items. I'm like pretty good in the game, and then their top laner is just like level 16, also 2 items, and I just can't look at him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can't look at Mbessa. She ults you in front of your whole team, and she appears behind you. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
She's up 4 levels on me, and I have made no mistakes the whole game.
yeah.
I feel like that's already one, but I'm gonna ask you too.
Yeah, honestly, that one didn't come to mind. The biggest thing for me that I thought felt weird, it didn't feel as much, or it didn't feel as bad in competitive games. That obviously today is the first day I've played stage games, but Baron is so tanky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18k HP before on the previous year when Artican was alive and stuff. At 30 minutes, Baron was not as tanky as it is now. At 30 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Think about how much more gold teams can acquire during that 10-minute period. Obviously, there's more gold in the game now with plates being on towers and whatnot,
Yeah.
and the royal quests and whatnot. It's easy to get more gold, but not 10 minutes worth of gold. Why is Nash so tanky? When can we win?
Yeah.
Like, even in the game that we played versus Dig today, like, you would think when we're up 10k gold with Soul, like, maybe we can take Nash really fast or something if they're losing, like, obviously we misplayed really badly.
Yeah.
But you would think like we could kill Nash in like 10 seconds with a 4-item ADC
Yeah.
at 20 minutes. You would hope so, but you just can't.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I asked you this while you were in the room before we started the podcast. Did you know that Baron didn't have shred all of last year? Not
What
like
do you mean by that?
resistance shred, like magic resistance and armor
It
resistance.
didn't?
It did not. Apparently, it's because Otacon did. Baron
Oh,
did
right.
not. So not only is
Well-
it, so a lot of people didn't know that.
I
didn't know
think
that.
I did think that Otacon was a lot harder to take than Nash, oftentimes.
Yeah.
Last year, but
Yeah.
I thought it still
Yeah.
had shred, just not as much. It wasn't as significant.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Because that was in the patch notes. So I when I saw the patch notes, I was like, oh. So it's Tenki and that has that. Last one for you, Palafox.
Yeah. It feels like honestly this meta there's not too much going on. It feels like a lot of the game is just like a I'll give you an example of like I don't know if you watched the T1 game where they're down like
Yeah,
14,000
yeah,
gold
I
against
watched
PT.
it, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
It
that.
feels like the game will become more like it was in like season 4, season 3,
Yeah.
where it's like make them break us. Baron gives 500 gold. It gives nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
You can
It's
honestly
not
trade
that
Baron
good,
for a
yeah.
dragon, any dragon, like soul point, not
Mhm.
even soul, and it might be worth it. Like honestly, it just doesn't feel like the game can be progressed so fast if the enemy team doesn't give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm not gonna lie, like in the game, the first game against you guys, like it seems completely doomed, but you guys have like Akali Rumble, which Akali kind of gets outscaled by like Kai'Sa specifically,
Yeah.
right? It feels like even at that point, my AD carry hit 3 items, we can win,
Yeah.
right? So it really just does feel like I don't know how to put it, but like the game doesn't progress so fast anymore
Mm.
if the enemy doesn't give it to you. And in comp, I feel like it's going to be a lot slower. In solo queue, people just give it to you, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, to be fair, Otacon was literally the objective that was made to kind of pull people
to
into
create
fights.
more
Yeah.
action
Yeah.
and whatnot. It
That's
definitely
true.
it definitely did. I like that Otacon is gone
Yeah.
personally, but
oh,
it definitely like it
I like
definitely made
Otacon,
people
dude.
die.
Otacon was interesting.
Bro, as a fan, I loved Otacon.
Yeah.
Just watching the game be lost by it.
Mhm.
But no, that's we're at time. That was a great conversation. I appreciate that. I didn't expect it. Now I'm interested to see how thoughts progress with the patch, as we continue moving on with that one, and how you guys do going into the next stage of Swiss. Appreciate you guys coming in. Thanks a ton.
Thanks for having us.
And thanks you guys for listening to this one. Of course, we are on like iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff, YouTube. Check out the next episode coming in next week. So see you guys until then. Peace.